don't know what Louis Vuitton was thinking with these redesigns, but they are not as good as the originals, especially number 3. Hi YouTube, Autumn Beckman here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about luxury on a budget, so if you're into that sort of thing, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell notification icon to be notified when I post new videos, and be sure to like the videos that you enjoy. Today we'll be talking about 5, I was going to do this, but that's 10, 5 bags that Louis Vuitton redesigned, and I prefer the original version. I do want to say right up front that these are obviously just my opinions. I am certainly not doing this to offend anyone. I don't think any of these will offend anyone except maybe number 3, because I really don't like that redesign. The rest I like, I just prefer the original, and I will explain why. All right, the first bag where I prefer the original design is the old model Neverfull. I have an old model and a new model, and I have a video that goes through the differences in greater detail. I'll link that video below. But the main reason that I prefer the old model bag is because of the interior. I prefer the flowers on the stripes and the script font. So that's the old model. Here is the new model. The new model doesn't have the flowers on the stripes, it's just the stripes, and then it has that block font. And I just think that's plain and kind of boring looking in comparison to this, and I think this is just more beautiful. It also ties in more with the history of Louis Vuitton, the fonts they used in the past, the flowers that they have in their monogram prints, and it ties to the trunks. So this bag feels like it has more of that Vuitton history that so many of us love and appreciate. There are some advantages of the new bag. The new bag, I didn't pull it, but it comes with that pouch, you know what I'm talking about. And the new bag doesn't have a lined pocket here, whereas the old one, the pocket is lined in a plasticky material. You see how shiny that is? And that has been known to peel in some bags over time. So those are 2 benefits to the new bag, but I still really prefer the old one. I've thought a few times about getting one of the monogram Neverfulls in the old model, but I just haven't done that, and probably won't, to be honest. And that brings me directly to bag number 2, which is the Delightful. The Delightful had 3 different iterations. This, like I said, is the original model. The original model has a curve here. The next model, also called the Delightful, this came to a point, and there were a few other small changes to the bag, like they removed this tab here that says Louis Vuitton Paris, made in France, or wherever your bag was made. And this bag I actually got in lieu of getting a Neverfull in monogram in the original print, because look inside this. They have the flower print. It doesn't have the script font because it doesn't have, well, because it's not a Neverfull, but it does have that beautiful interior that's the same beige as the monogram Neverfull. A lot of similarities between those bags. I think I have a comparison video on the Delightful and the Neverfull. I will also link below if you're interested. There were 2 models of the Delightful, and then they discontinued the Delightful and came out with the remodel, which is called the Graceful now. I prefer that original model of the Delightful, but the Graceful also has some problems, and personally I don't think I would ever get that bag because of these issues. First, the Graceful has these folded corners on the bottom, which over time have been shown on some bags to wear more quickly as compared to these corners on the Delightful. Also, they changed the way the ring is clipped on the bags. So on the old model Delightful, it's just like that, and it's very easy to get into your bag. The opening is quite large, no problem getting in there. But on the Graceful, they've cinched the edges like on the Artsy, which makes the bag a little more difficult, or in my opinion, it would be a lot more difficult to get into compared to the old model Delightful, because it makes the opening smaller. They did on the Graceful add a luggage tag, which is something that was very popular at the time the Graceful came out, and is still popular. So that was a little bonus they added to that bag, sort of like how they added the pouch to the Neverfull. Bag number 3 is the redesign of the Turenne. This is my favorite bag in my collection. It has sentimental value. It was a gift. A lot of you know this. I think it's one of the most beautiful bags that Louis Vuitton has ever made. I think it's one of the most feminine looking bags. I also think it's a very classic shape. And it's a versatile bag. There are different ways you can hold it. I've got videos on this. I'll link them below. And I'm a sucker for pleats. However, the redesign is called the Rivoli. And I really, really, really dislike this bag. This is where I don't want to offend anyone. We can have differences of opinions on handbags and still be friends. It's okay. They're just handbags. But I think this one is just so ugly. To me, this looks like the Turenne's ugly little sister who was left in a hot car to melt. And then the name Rivoli sounds a lot like ravioli, which makes me think of soggy pasta and the melting, and it all just goes together and it's a mess. I don't know what they were thinking with the handles. Why weren't they just designed like this, like the handles on a Speedy and so many other classic Louis Vuitton bags? I think this looks so strange, and I like strange in a lot of ways, but I don't like it here, especially how it's connected to another piece of leather to connect to the little brass ring. That just confuses me. And then I don't understand why the tab is in the middle of the bag instead of up at the top by a seam where it makes sense. I don't get it. Like I said at the beginning, on all of the other bags, they're fairly minor changes, and all the bags, redesign or not, the originals and the redesigns, they're all beautiful and they all seem pretty functional. But the redesign of the Turenne, I mean, in my opinion, this is just so much more beautiful. I don't know what they were thinking with the Rivoli. Bag number 4 is the Noe, and the redesign being the Neo Noe. I have never been a fan of the Neo Noe. I think it's a pretty bag from the outside, but I don't think it's as functional or as pretty as the original Noe. Now, I only have mine in the Epi, and I have made some alterations to it that they did make for the Neo Noe. So there are some improvements I agree with, but there are some things that I really don't agree with in terms of functionality. So let's look at the Neo Noe and I'll tell you what I don't like about it. The outside is beautiful. I love that they added the little slide that cinches the bag and helps keep it closed. I love that they added a short handle in addition to the long one. But when you look inside the bag, two things really bother me. One is that they added a center pocket, and that seems like it would make it much more difficult to get your things in and out of the bag and your hands in and out. And since they took away several of the folds that you have on the original Noe, and they only have 4 on the Neo Noe. When you reach in, it looks like the drawstring would be in your way and it would get a little tangled in your fingers when you're trying to get in and out of the bag. It seems like you have to be pretty deliberate when you reach in and out of your bag, whereas the Noe, you just pull it open and you've got the big opening and it's very easy to get in and out. The drawstring does not get in your way, and there's no center compartment that would be in your way either. I added a pull on my drawstring, and I also added a short handle. I have a video on that, wouldn't you know it? And guess what? I will link it below. Bag number 5 is the only one I don't have in my collection. I do, however, have a dupe. That's right, I'm calling it a dupe from Coach. I know a lot of Coach people strongly disagree with that and think that it is a remake of the Coach Court bag. But I strongly disagree with you, because this looks a heck of a lot more like the Pichette Matisse than it looks like the Court bag. So bag number 5 is the Louis Vuitton Pichette Matisse. There are, to my knowledge, 3 versions of the Pichette Matisse, and the original is my favorite for 2 reasons. One, on the back of the bag, on all 3 versions, there's a zippered pocket. On the original version, there's a little vachetta tab on the zipper pull, and I just think that adds some beauty to the bag. It's my understanding that the reason they got rid of that is because it would rub against people's clothing and they would get some color transfer on it, but I don't think that's such a big deal. I think it's prettier than not having that tab there. The other thing they had in the original version that they took away on the redesigns was a slip pocket on one of the walls of the interior. So here's a picture of the original next to a picture of the remodel, and you can see that one has a little extra slip pocket on the inside and the other does not. The Coach Cassie has a zippered pocket where Vuitton had that slip pocket. And then they also have a slip pocket right here. And like I said in my video about the Coach Cassie bag, which of course I will link below, I actually prefer this bag for a few reasons to the Pichette Matisse. I think it's designed better than the Pichette Matisse. The dupe is better than the original, but the original is better than the redesigns. Plus, I don't think the original had all the glazing issues that came later with the redesigns. But I could be wrong about that, so somebody correct me. Well, those are 5 bags that I don't think Louis Vuitton should have messed with because I think they were better the first time around. What do you think? And what other bags from Vuitton have you seen them redesign that you liked better in the original or that you like better now? I'll leave all that in the comment section below. And of course, the original models that I've shown you today are all discontinued at this point, but you can get them pre-loved, and I've listed my favorite pre-loved sites in the description box below. So if you want to scour those sites and try to find one of these bags, I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend, out of all of these bags, this, like I said, is my favorite in terms of beauty and in terms of functionality. It's a fantastic bag. They all are. This one has a special place in my heart. Thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye.